Hey there lads, my name is Mirza. It's been a little over 2 months since Forza Horizon 6 released, and in that time I've gone on to almost 100% the game, and henceforth I want to finally gather my thoughts on this game like I promised way back in my day 1 review. So without any further ado, let's get it. I'm not going to bore you with recounting how the game's story goes because as we all know, racing game stories have been terrible for the past decade or so. So instead of giving you a play-by-play, I'll give you the rough draft. You arrive in Japan as a new racer with your friends May and Jordan, hoping to compete in the Horizon Festival and perhaps even get all the wristbands to become a Horizon legend. After completing your first few events, you'll unlock your first yellow wristband, which allows you to become a member of Horizon and continue onwards through the festival, unlocking wristbands for completing showcase events, which allow you to go unlock more events, PR stunts, and other little things you can do around the festival, and of course, more access to high-end racing. Eventually, once you unlock the final golden wristband, you are granted access to Legend Island, to which you race with your friends and become a Horizon legend. It's all corny. Point is, the story is still tossable. Sure, the prospect of being an up-and-coming racer with your friends, trying to compete to participate in the Horizon Festival is interesting, but the game doesn't do anything with it. Once you complete the first wristband event, this storyline really takes a back seat and isn't mentioned again until the race onto Legend Island. May and Jordan will make the occasional comment for completing other wristband events and appear in other events or stories, but other than that, their status as friends feels much more surface level than the best friendedness that the game implies. The showcase events are certainly interesting. I appreciate that they deviate from the typical copy and paste of previous Horizon showcase events in some regard, and the rush events, as I said in my day 1 review, are still my favorite interpretation of these events. Having a time attack is a really nice change of pace, and these levels are actually challenging, which could be a major skill issue, since I consider myself an intermediate at driving compared to some people in this fan base. Regardless, these were still really fun, and I hope they do more of them for future updates. Regarding Legend Island, the grind is annoying. I get that a major emphasis of this game's wristband system is progression and feeling like you're actually unlocking things, a critical failure of previous Horizon games, which this game does pretty well compared to the past, especially with the aforementioned Horizon Rush events. But requiring people to complete damn near every single PR stunt and race in the game just to get to the last wristband feels much more like a mandatory 100% completion rather than natural game progress. And I have no doubt that there will be a portion of people who see the uphill climb and decide to quit rather than stick around. The map, of course, is wonderful. Japan is a very nice change of pace from Mexico and finally brings us back to a world that doesn't look completely lifeless all the time. Being a natural winter fan like myself, having not just an insanely fun alpine course but also an entire map covered in snow once more is perhaps the best week of the month for me every time. Disregarding that, of course, there is certainly more variety to Japan's map comparative to Mexico or Brit. Ranging from the endless rice fields to the bamboo forest to the cherry blossoms to the seaside towns, Japan has you covered with loads. Also, I've got to mention this, at the time of writing this video there's a glitch which makes the skybox look a lot better than it's supposed to. Just worth mentioning because this game is capable of looking phenomenal, not that it doesn't sometimes. Parts of the map have been split into different regions, which is made very clear constantly like you're playing Skyrim. While this constant transitioning can be annoying, it does help with completion, since each region has its own stats tracking, its own little collectibles you can go around, all sorts of stuff. Unfortunately, like Horizon 5 and to some degree 4, Horizon 6 does a really poor job of representing Japan's culture. Now this typically wouldn't be a point I would raise if the games didn't make an incessant point about how they represent culture. Sure, you can say, oh, but there's the mech showcase, and the cherry blossoms, and a few toga races. They mention Initial D! Yeah, sure, you can say that, but really, what is there more than that? Not much else. The toga races are very limited, with only 5 in the entire game. In fact, street racing in general is very limited in this game, as the majority of races in this game are either dirt racing, like Rally, or street-sanctioned road racing. Like a lot of things in this series, the game does just enough to do the bare minimum, which unfortunately seems to be a few toga races and a Japanese character or two. Returning to Horizon is the bonus boards, collectibles you can find all around the map that, when smashed, give you a certain amount of XP depending on what rarity they are. The rarity they can be will change depending on how difficult it is to find them or smash them, ranging from a measly 1000 XP all the way up to 5000 XP. You can find about 200 of these located across the map. Typically returning in previous games would have been fast travel boards as well, boards that would have reduced the cost of fast traveling to different locations around the map. Unfortunately, these boards don't come back with Horizon 6. One thing I liked about previous Horizon games having fast travel was that at first it would be too expensive to use constantly, but as you played further and discovered more of the map, it would become more economical. A reward for playing more, if you will. But Horizon 6 unfortunately does away with that and just gives you fast travel anywhere outright. In the place of fast travel boards are regional mascots. In each region of the map, little statues of that region's mascot can be found and smashed for money, ultimately coming out together for another 100 mascots to smash, along with the 200 bonus boards in the game. It's a real shame that they give everyone fast travel immediately, because this game by far and away has some of the best driving that has been in a racing game in the past 10 years. I don't know what they did with Forza's drive model, but it feels really nice now. It feels fresh, feels invigorating, and it feels right at home with this map. What you can instead find across the map is aftermarket cars. Cars for resale that you can just drive right up to and buy. Ah yes, I really do love the experience of driving up to someone selling their used car and hearing the words, "I know what I've got." It's really great that fiction mimics reality, they say. And this supposedly isn't limited to a preset selection that never changes like the wheel spin or level rewards. Instead, the cards you can find here will rotate out over time, even offering some Forzathon only cars later on. Currently, however, you can find Forza Edition cars like the Mazda MX-5 instead of needing to grind out for them in wheel spins or series rewards. Speaking of, Forza Edition cars. The cars that everyone shoots for when they need to go real fast or get a lot of skill points, or just because they're cool. Forza Edition cars are special versions of regular cars in the game that have special boosts applied to them and cannot be bought in the auto show like other cars, and now they are made more unique. Each Forza Edition car, now whittled down to 18 in total, has a unique build that you can't get on the stock version of that car, such as the Mazda MX-5 with its unique engine swap to the V8, the Toyota AE86 with its unique widebody, and the Tacoma TRD with its extreme downforce kit. One of the things that hasn't really changed with Horizon 6 is the wheel spin system. In Horizon, when you level up, you will earn a wheel spin for each level, most of the time. Doesn't seem like that in Horizon 6. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, you will earn a wheel spin where you can roll for random rewards, sometimes cars, sometimes credits, sometimes clothes if you don't go ahead and buy them all out. And most of the time the rewards are ass. So not much changed on that front. Speaking of models, how about the cars? Yes, I will rant about the car models like I spent so long doing in my Horizon 5 video, but first the actual car selection. While the car selection this time around is actually pretty good with new arrivals, there are certainly some contenders missing unfortunately, the most prominent one being Bugatti missing entirely. This one is more likely a reasonable case. Bugatti recently underwent a partial shareholder change, with Volkswagen finally letting go of their remaining stocks in Bugatti and trading them off to a firm in New York. So it's more likely that this was a disagreement between the owners, being this firm and Rimac, who still holds the majority ownership. And seeing as Rimac is still present in the game, I'm much more lenient to believe this theory. And should the quote-unquote leaks about the Bolide coming to the game have any weight whatsoever, I find it hard to believe that they would make new licenses for a model that backs out. But then again, it could have been last minute. Also missing of note is the McLaren Senna. This one was a bit controversial when it was first revealed that the Senna was not in the game as a legacy reward car for playing Horizon 4, and its continued disappearance from this latest entry has been explained away as a temporary disappearance due to the model being redesigned. Bit of a dumb reason in my opinion, but we'll see how it goes. Perhaps this could also be the lead-in to them adding the Senna GTR to the game. Who knows? Another manufacturer, technically, missing is Hoonigan. This one can probably be boiled down to the leadership behind Hoonigan being different, especially so after the unfortunate passing of Ken Block, and their heavy tie-ins with the Crew Motorfest might have something to do with it. There are a few other manufacturers that are missing, but they don't have much of note outright beyond promotional tie-ins and the odd company. So now, I talk about the new cars, and we got some goodies. Obviously, the K cars are one to be excited for. I mean, it's the biggest thing that people were excited for with this game. And not including the ones from Horizon 5, they are a really nice treat, including the Honda Ackie and the Subaru Vivio. There certainly is a lot more variety to the new cars than what came with Horizon 5, which is certainly helped by a lot of the cars being part of the new Eclectic Domestics class, meaning we get a lot more unique cars than we wouldn't have previously seen in Forza. In terms of customization, despite the long-awaited arrival of window decals, the customization in this game is still quite lacking. This is most recently, and best shown off, by the newly added Toyota GR Corolla. Arriving in Car Pass for the second week of July 2026, the GR Corolla is quite the humorous addition for me. Yes, let's add the Europe-Japan only car to the game based in North America, and add the North America only car to the game based in Japan. That makes sense. Disregarding that, the GR Corolla suffers from the very same fate that a lot of new cars suffer from, and old cars have continued to suffer from for years. Very little customization options. In fact, the Corolla may be the worst one I've seen yet, with having its front and rear bumper options being a replacement of glossy plastic from matte plastic. How lazy can you get? Well, I can tell you how lazy they got, because the De Tomaso Panthera, returning from Forza Motorsport 8, has more customization options than this new to Forza car. No, we can't include the Rally Concept body kit or the bumper swaps for the facelifted version. That would require too much effort. And that's the running issue with Forza that shows its face yet again in Horizon 6. The idea of costing too much effort. For a while now, Forza's devs have seemingly followed a belief that anything more than the bare minimum is a waste of time and effort. They'll only fix something if the masses are criticizing it, but they'll do it slowly or only fix the highlighted issue itself, and ignore the sub-issues that have come with it. People complained that the Forza's customization was lacking and that Forza Aero was outdated and needed a replacement. That the delivery system was outdated and needed a replacement. So what did the devs do? Added window vinyls and new Forza Aero. What do you mean they wanted actual Aero customization like what GT7 has done? No! Let's just add a new wing and call it a day. And also, 1,000 layer limit on windows, because your decal limit problems are not our problem. Or maybe it's that they spent all their time making the Forza Edition cars unique and completely forgot to apply those same customization options to the regular cars. Either way, it's a really bad show. Speaking of customization, how about your garage? Forza has slowly been inching closer and closer to this point over time of garage customization, starting with the variety of houses to own in Horizon 4 and 5, and now we've fully embraced it with garage and estate customization. In your garage, a space that your car inhabits inside your house instead of just parking on the lawn like a Corvette owner's worst nightmare, you now have your very own space to customize. Whether you leave it as stock, or tear it out and build your own, or just remove everything and keep the super secret dinosaur, the garage is entirely yours to customize. For the estate, you can unlock a property out in the northwest of the map to purchase from May's grandparents and customize into your own grand property, as well as customizing the garage inside. As you can tell, I've taken the great liberty of recreating one of my favorite American history events of all time. While I will note that the customization is a nice addition and something we should have had for a while, the selection is rather limited, mostly due to it using all the props from Event Lab and not much new items. There's really not a lot in here for people to experiment with garage customization, but then again, I'm not a very creative person when it comes to this stuff, as my specialty is much more in liveries. One of the major selling points of Horizon 6 has been that they're updating their car models, especially the ones still hanging on from the starting days of Forza. Some of these cars, like the 2003 Ford Focus, the S15 Silvia, the 2001 Integra, and the Skyline R33, have all been problematic models that have long needed an update, and they finally get updated models with Horizon 6, so for this I must commend Playground for finally doing the job that they get paid for. Additionally, some of these cars receive new customization options, mostly the R33. Can you tell that I have a preference? However, while the main focus has been on the outliers, there are still a lot of cars in this game that need reworking. It's quite fitting that the majority of the reworks were older JDM segments, when my first example is the Mitsubishi Eclipse. Thankfully, Forza has not yet terrorized us with the modern walking corpse of this name, so the only Eclipse that we get is this one, and it's bad. For a game set in Japan, not adding any other generation of the Eclipse is bad enough, but leaving this outdated fossil of a model in the game to represent the sole Eclipse is horrendous. Like many other relics still left here, the Eclipse doesn't have an opening hood or trunk, the major main indicator of an old model. What do you mean this car still has no wide body options? Forza can add all these bumper options, but adding a wide body is too far out of range? And yes, I will give a bit of wiggle room. I know that dealing with licenses is absurd and all, like I said before, but there's no way that Mitsubishi went, yes, all these alternative body options, okay, but wide bodies? This issue isn't prone to the eclipse, like I said. While a lot of older notable Japanese cars have been reworked like the RX-7 and the S2000, others still remain unchanged. Even the Celica, one of the very first cars you drive in the game and one of the starter cars, remains unchanged. The lack of updating doesn't just stop there. While European cars seem to have fared better, especially in German segments, the classic American muscle segment still has seen very little change. Nearly all of these cars remain unchanged, only having their openable doors and low quality models. No more customization options, just the same thing over and over again. And of course, the ever troublesome BMW M3 remains. I mentioned it originally in my short form review, but this car seems to have been touched up in minor ways instead of getting a full reworking. A curious choice from Playground. This, of course, isn't good enough because you can't just shine a turd and expect it to work. For a 5-year wait after Horizon 5, I find it greatly disappointing that Playground has seemingly sat around doing nothing instead of actually fixing one of the core issues of their games. Moving on, the engine sounds have once again been tweaked, this time without a major show-all campaign about it. While it does sound closer to the actual cars this time around, it still lacks in some places, and I don't think it'll ever reach the sheer aura of the sounds in the Crew Motorfest, but it's definitely a better place to start from. Stories have been a staple of Forza since Horizon 4. Basically just long-form A to B missions, where you hear a lot of yapping, you do something remotely related to a consistent story, and just complete the objective in time or with some kind of skill, whatever. They return once more in Horizon 6, but they've got a little bit more variety to them, with Yuji's Auto Repairs and Moto Magazine, along with day trips, organized routes where you drive in convoys guided by May as she talks about all the location's special things. Additionally, another staple from Horizon 4 returns in the form of businesses, technically. In Horizon 4, you could own multiple businesses ranging from taxis to a delivery service to even an insurance company, completing stories in that company in order to increase your passive income you would make every day from logging in. In Horizon 6, this comes with the arrival of Raku Raku Express. Instead of owning the business outright and making passive income, you now get a job. You get a job. You can take shifts working as a delivery driver going around Tokyo City in quick 1 to 2 minute missions, which you can level up more and more to earn more money and get a higher title. In small segments, this side mode is fine, but let me say as grinding out to 100%, this is by far and away the worst and most tedious segment. One of those staples of Horizon is the barn finds. You can earn rumors by simply playing the game, in which one of your characters will tell you about a rumor of a car stuck in a barn somewhere in the countryside. You get a general region that you need to explore in order to find it, and you go there and find the car. This time around, we've got a new selection of cars, and they're actually pretty nice. The typical mix of pre-existing cars from old and a few new ones are a nice selection for, quote, old cars, but I gotta say I find it hard to believe that a racing Mitsubishi from 2005 can look like this. I mean, that was only 10 years ago or so. In addition to the barn finds, new to Horizon 6 is the treasure cars. Yet again somewhat reusing a mechanic from Horizon 4, the treasure cars take the treasure hunt mechanic from Horizon 4's Legend Island, in that your only hint for finding the cars is the region and a photo of the car, to which you must locate yourself. This is a nice twist, challenging you to actually remember the nearby terrain of the map in order to reward yourself with cars. And the car selection on this end is actually pretty good, mostly because of the 2005 GT. But before I close out this video, of course, I must talk about the online racing, a section I critically forgot to mention in my Horizon 5 video. A large part of the Forza gameplay experience is the online, which for a while hasn't been great. Although I've had limited exposure to the online racing of Forza so far, I can say that it does seem to be a bit more tame than before, with the increasing of anti-collision ghosting and slowdown for non-clean racing. It seems like Playground is finally taking the initiative to punish players for not racing fairly, and also making it easier for clean racers to set good laps. In addition to online racing is the auction house and user-generated content in the form of custom car designs. The auction house works as a place for players to offload their excess cars for sale or to sell their custom builds. The issue with this is that it's long existed as a scalper's wasteland of rare cars being sniped instantly for high prices and the main page being flooded with cars that no one wants. On the livery side, it's a gooner's paradise. While the liveries can be excused to some degree as it's a part of Japanese culture, not just car culture, the scalping is a sad trademark of modern Forza. But with that, I think that's a good place to cap off this review. Obviously, this game has a lot of issues, some of which are derived from core issues that have long existed with Forza. But despite my negativity, this game is a good time, and certainly a much better time than Horizon 5 or any motorsport game. With that, I've got to say that this game holds as a solid 7 out of 10. Not worth buying full price, but snag it when it's on sale and you'll have some fun. Now we wait until the end of the year when IGN comes back and gives it Game of the Year and the Xbox fanboys come clobbering to slobber on it until the next game comes around. And with that, my name is Mirza, and thank you for watching.